Good evening. It's Jules Wyman here from juleswyman.com. How are you? I am just having a quick look to make sure that I've gone live. If you're somebody who watches this on the recordings, then you're probably one of the only people who gets to see this waffle at the beginning of of the session. You can tell I'm doing something else at the same time, can't you? This whole thing of being able to multitask is a myth. Come and join the conversation because I'm actually starting a watch party at the same time. So I'm sharing this video immediately with people on my page. So you're probably going to start hearing me speaking again. Yeah, there you go. There's lots of ums and ands and at the start so I'm here, I'm present now. Now I've got that going, I can check on that and see who's there over on the other page when it's required. But good evening, how are you? I'm a little bit close, not waffle, thank you, Ruth. Is waffle really, because it's not really of anything of value to you, is it? It's just me doing stuff in the background. How are you, my lovely? And how's Ireland at the moment? I'm assuming that's where you are. And for those of you who are joining live, please do exactly as Ruth has done, although she's not specifically saying hi, but Tiffany has, just as I've asked that. So good evening, Tiffany. Do drop down and say hi, because it's always lovely to say hello. I love your waffle, Shelley. Thank you, Shelley. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I have a tendency with those little moments is I'm lost in my own little world and I don't really know who's there at that point. So I'm just having a little waffle. So it is usually, I think, those who are on the recording that get the pleasure of watching that part, unless you can skip past it. All good and very chilly in Ireland. Yeah, it's a bit chilly here. I think we've all got lulled into a false sense of security, having had that lovely spring weather here in the UK last week, walking around in t-shirts practically in February. Never known it like that, but certainly feeling it today. It's definitely, temperature has changed so much so I've even put another heater on this evening rather. So that was more waffle. How are you all, wherever you are in the world? Welcome to the Confidence Conversation. If you've never joined before, whether you are watching live or whether you're watching on the recording, please do as all the other ladies have done so far. And I'm saying ladies because there may be gents watching. There's very often gents watching, but it's only the ladies so far that have chipped in and said hi. But please don't wait to be invited, whether you're watching live or on the recording. If you're watching on the recording, then this wave, hello, is just for you. And do still say hi, because I will come back and I actually type in hi once I get to it as soon as possible. But for those of you that are watching live, then just drop down and say hi. You don't have to join in if you don't really want to at any other point. But feel free to chip in and do as somebody's just done and hit a load of emojis and send those in as well, because that is great. And I'm desperate for the validation, obviously. Yeah, so don't wait to type. Whether you're watching live or on the recording, please feel free to type in a question, comment, or simply a hello at absolutely any point, and use the emojis to let me know whether things are making sense, whether they resonate with you. And if something doesn't resonate with you, I do request, rather than you put in a sad face or an angry face, not because I'm sensitive and I don't want those, is that I would invite you to interact. I'd invite you to let me know what's making sense so we can have a conversation. There is a reason why this is called the Confidence Conversation and not a lecture, because this is about a conversation. And the more that you guys enjoy, the more, well, it is about enjoying, but the more that you join in, the more I can have a conversation rather than just being sat here at home talking to a computer, knowing that it's reaching a number of people around the country or around the world even. So yeah, please do drop down and say hi. It's always lovely to be able to give people a shout out and get you to join in. So there are a number of people that are watching on the on the watch party over on the other page as well. So if you're watching on that page, then again, do say hi, because I've got both of them open, so I'll be able to see if you say hi over on that point. I've got a very unglamorous way of drinking this evening because I didn't make myself a cup of tea, and I've got a very, it's meant to be cloudy drink. So that was not meant to happen. Neither was that. Things are falling off the bottle at me. Oh well, seems to be a comedy night this evening. So the way this works is I bring a topic to the table, and it's either been suggested by somebody, or it's something that has been coming up in coaching sessions, or it's something that I've noticed happening and get people asking about in workshops. So therefore, I bring it to the forum. I bring it to this page so that we can have a conversation about it. And please feel free to invite people along and get them to join in the conversation as well. And you can do that exactly the same way that you would do with anything else on Facebook, which is by tagging them or sharing this to your page. And I think you might be able to add this to as a watch party to your own page as well. Don't ask me how to immediately do that. I think if you're there, it might give you the opportunity to click watch party. I'm not sure. Have a look. It may be there. But this is the third part of a series of confidence basics that I'm planning on doing this year. So bearing in mind that it's March, believe it or not. So therefore, there is a part in January, and part one's in January, part two's in February. So guess what? There's going to be 12 of them this year. And you can find them. I have put the link in the comments, not the comments, in the description part of this video. But don't go over there now and start watching the other videos. Stay on here and watch this one live, and then you can go back and find them on the videos page, where you can find all of the other videos. I'm heading towards this, the third anniversary of doing these Facebook Lives every Monday night. And, you know, I think I've missed maybe 10 in the nearly 3 years. So we're pretty good going. And there's always been a fairly valid reason as to why I've not been able to do them, by the poor internet connection, or being in hospital, or sadly somebody passing away and me not being able to do it. So other than that, I've been here every single Monday night. It's probably the longest commitment I've ever had. I've had relationships shorter than that, but that's another story. I think it's partly because I've not really spoken to many people one-to-one today. So you're the first people I've really spoken to massively today. I've been in the office doing a lot of admin. So I was out of the office around the country last week doing lots of talks and workshops and trainings and coaching. And it was such an amazing week. Had the opportunity of meeting some really inspiring people and sharing a very brand new talk of mine called How Infectious Are You? Which is all about my patient journey last year through the NHS system, health system here in the UK. And utilising the tools that I know as a coach during that quite unnerving, stressful, scary time in my life. So yeah, I shared that for the first time last week even. So if you were somebody who is watching or has joined this page due to watching that, then welcome, because I know that there's a number of you that have connected with me since then. So lovelies, let us crack on with this confidence basics part 3, which is all about your relationship to confidence. And if you have a pen and paper, then I really invite you to, I am going to chuck some questions your way. And if you haven't, then that's fine, because you can always go back and watch this again on the videos and skip to these parts. So it's around about 7:10-ish. Let me have a look. Yeah, nearly 7:10, so that you can, skip to this part and answer these questions for yourself. Because the thing that I have noticed, and quite often will start in a conversation with, especially with one-to-one clients, but this also comes up a lot when I do my Truth About Confidence, both the talks and the workshops as well, is that a number of people will say that they want to grow their confidence, but they are concerned that they will become overconfident, or they're concerned that they will become arrogant or disingenuous. And and people may not like them, and there's various different perceptions like that creep up for people. Oh, I've just seen there's some more hellos there. Hi, Caroline. Is it Shamalia? Shamila? I apologize for mispronouncing your name if I have, but good evening, both of you. So what I notice, because of people's relationship to confidence, that's very often where we need to start, because there's no good in me immediately starting to share the confidence tools and the information and the insights that I've learned over the past decade of exploring confidence. This is about, initially, first and foremost, the confidence basics side of it is really understanding your relationship to confidence, to that word. Because very often we are, and I think this is very prevalent in the UK. I'm not sure how prevalent it is in other cultures, but I'm sure that it is. Whether it's in exactly the same way, I don't know. But in my experience, especially with people in the UK, is that we have this, I suppose to a certain degree, this sort of fear of becoming arrogant or overconfident. And so therefore we then start to, we pull ourselves back. We become quite reserved from blowing our own trumpet or promoting ourselves or speaking out or celebrating who we are. And this can have quite a significant effect, whether that be in professional life or in personal life, whether it be about relationships with your boss or relationships with your new or current partner. So it can show up in so many different ways. And part of the problem with that is because I remember specifically a particular client I was working with last year, a very, very senior lady within an organization who was very good at what she did, and she knew that she was very good at what she did, and there was always a but, I don't want to become too big-headed. I don't want to be seen as the arrogant one. I don't want to be seen as somebody who's showing off or somebody who can't be trusted. And these kinds of conversations came up over and over again. And I remember one of the conversations that we had that we really drilled into, what does she think confidence is? And more specifically, what does she think that confident people are? Or how does she perceive somebody who's confident? And therefore, how is that impacting her? So and if you've ever done one of my workshops, you'll know that what is happening for that what I take people through. Sorry, I got disrupted because an email popped through. Let me just turn them off so that I don't get distracted by that again. So what in the workshops, we go through a confidence audit, and this is part of that. Obviously, go into a lot more detail depending on the length of the workshop and the if I'm working one-on-one with somebody. And we were digging down into this, and it became very obvious that part of the reason that she wasn't engaging with, or rather accessing her confidence, was because of this fear of becoming being perceived as arrogant or overconfident or not trustworthy. Does this make sense? Let me know if this is making sense. Because what that meant for her is that internally there becomes a conflict, which is, give me some thumbs up, by the way, if that makes sense, or some hearts, or make a comment of yes, it makes sense, or why, if it's if you want to be really quick and simple. So whilst there was one part of her that was, there's lots of emojis coming in, brilliant. Whilst there was this part of her that was wanting to have more confidence, wanting to access it, there was this other part of her that felt in conflict, because I don't want to become that. I don't want to become that person, that person, the one that people kind of go, oh God, it's them again. And so there's a conflict there. So whilst she may take a step in the direction of accessing more confidence, there's another part of her that's going, yeah, but I'm pulling her back again. So it becomes this kind of boomerang action over and over again. And I don't think she's on her own at all, judging by the amount of conversations that I have with people. So does this resonate with you? Do you think that you're somebody who wants to become or wants to access or learn more about confidence, and yet knows that they are worried about becoming too confident or arrogant or overstepping the line, however you might describe it. Let me know in the comments if that resonates and makes sense with you. Let me see if I can have a drink of water without splurging myself. And also, whilst you're possibly typing away with that, let me just check that there's nobody leaving any questions on the other page. No. So whilst you're thinking about that, what my invitation to you is to start to really think about your relationship to confidence. So the questions that I would ask are, firstly, what do you think confidence is? What do you think confidence is? And just write down, if you're doing this now, great. I will keep talking because obviously I don't know how many of you are doing this now versus having me on whilst cooking the dinner at the same time or walking the dog or whatever. So obviously, if you need to, you can write the question down and go back to it later. But what do you actually think that confidence is? And secondly, what do you think about those people that you perceive have confidence? What do you think about those people who have confidence? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Are you like them but you're cautious? What's your relationship to them? Because the more you can get clear on whatever your relationship is to confidence or confident people, it will help you to dive a lot deeper down into why you are or aren't accessing confidence. And you will notice, I'm hoping that most of you, I'm making an assumption here, that most of you have watched a number of these or have heard me speak before, some way, shape or form. And if you haven't, then welcome. It's lovely to have you here. But you'll notice that I talk about accessing confidence as opposed to boosting or building or growing or developing, because I believe from the research that I have studied and my experience of being a confidence coach for over 13 and a half years now is that it's not something that needs to be built or boosted or developed or grown. I do appreciate that it can feel like that. I can appreciate that it feels like you have a confidence knock or a confidence crisis or something like that. But for me, it's about that confidence is always there. It always has been, it always will be, but it's what gets in the way. And part of these confidence basics is understanding that. Now, in relation to understanding your relationship to confidence, that will give you an opportunity to see what's getting in the way, because like I was saying about with this particular client, her thoughts around that she had to behave a certain way, that she had to achieve certain things, that she could never, that she had to behave a certain way and interact with others in a certain way. All of these things were kind of like a perfection, setting themselves this ideal. And again, by setting this ideal, it makes it a real challenge to get to. So that creates challenges as well. Let me know if this is making sense, by the way. Again, let me know that you're still alive and out there. Hey, Deborah, how are you doing? Caroline says, I think being confident, it's being confident with yourself as a person, your looks, how you portray to people, are able to make decisions good and straight to the point. So the thing I would pick up on that there, Caroline, that you might want to start looking at is that this comes up over and over and over again with people who talk about, it's about how you portray yourself to others. Now, the thing with that statement is, if I'm looking to portray myself to you in a certain way, then I'm trying to manipulate how you perceive me. And that takes a lot of energy and work. When I free myself up from worrying about or thinking about what you may be judging about me or what you may be perceiving of me, then actually I can work on my own self-perception. And I cannot tell you the difference that makes of not worrying about what other people think. You know, portraying yourself is effort. It's putting on a it's playing those characteristics. It's putting on a role. It's let me know if this is making sense, by the way, Caroline. This is why having a conversation is so vital and important with this. So the more that we can do, more that we can step away and actually, as you well know, my stock phrase is that confidence is an inside job. Then there isn't any need to portray, because you have it on the inside. And therefore, when you have it on the inside, it already emanates from the outside. You don't have to portray anything. It's already happening. So that's something that potentially, because of that relationship and wording it in that way, that could be something that is preventing you from accessing even more confidence, Caroline. I'm hoping that is making sense for you. Shelley says, I used to feel that way when I was younger, but as I've got older, I've learned to appreciate my confidence. That's awesome. Thank you, Shelley. Ruth says, I think confidence is linked to self-worth and value. And I absolutely agree with you. So what I would encourage you to do there, Ruth, is because you have that link internally about what confidence is for you, is you've linked it to self-worth and self-value. And I personally agree that those things are linked. I would invite you to dig even deeper and go, okay, well then start looking at, how do I value in myself? What do I perceive that needs to be about? What's going on there around my self-value? What are the rules? What are the assumptions that I'm making about self-worth and self-value that are potentially stopping me from accessing it? Because when we can access our own genuine self-worth, know our own value, then if confidence is linked to it, then that's going to be a beautiful byproduct from that. Does that make sense, Ruth? Let me know if that makes sense. Caroline says, being confident is having a good, calm appearance and loving your body no matter what. I love that, Caroline. And again, I would say, be aware of having a good, calm appearance. Again, that's about projecting to others what you think that they should be seeing, when in fact, actually, it isn't about that at all. It's about what's going on for you. So if you've got that inner calm, then you will be able to deal with, even when you've got stressful stuff happening on the outside, without there being a need for that stress internally, and therefore it won't be portrayed, I'll use your other word, portrayed to the outside world in that way. Sophie, hey Sophie, are you the Sophie I met last week who said that you like and comments on Facebook? If you are, if I met you last Thursday in Harrogate, if you're not, then I'm waving to the wrong Sophie, but the other Sophie might be there. So Sophie says, hi Jules, I'm late to the party. I'll catch up on this later. Brilliant. So I'm hoping that's making sense for you. It's the more you can keep looking at what are my if any time that you think that you're not experiencing confidence, let's say, oops, missed that. What was that, Ruth? I'm not sure what you're saying. Oops, missed that too. So anytime that you are, you perceive that you're lacking confidence, don't have enough confidence, don't believe in yourself, however you're dialoguing it, you've lost it, you've got a confidence crisis, had a confidence knock, whatever it may be, whenever you think that that's what's going on, that's how you're dialoguing it, ask yourself, what am I assuming right now? What are my expectations of myself around confidence? What's going on for me? How am I describing myself in relation to this situation? How am I describing myself? What is happening in that moment? Because the more you can get clear on that, that's going to give you the opportunity to see what those things are that are blocking you from accessing your confidence, which is there. Believe me, it's there. I haven't had to boost or build, or I am not constantly working on my confidence. I am vigilant about working on what's going on in here and seeing what's really going on in here, so that I can understand the impact that it's having on my outside world. But I'm not constantly boosting and working on my confidence to constantly develop it, not at all. It's very much about, it's something that I access and I feel from the inside. And I cannot tell you enough how bizarre it seems to me at times that I will find myself in what I would have classed previously as a nerve-wracking or stressful or nerving environment. And I just know, it's kind of like I'm having a bit of a, it's not literally, but it's like an out-of-body experience of kind of going, how did you get to that? How are you so calm? This is really cool. I don't know. And I'm not forcing it to happen. It's there, but it takes work, and it takes constant work, or consistent work rather. And I would love to say that I can wave a magic wand and we can all access it right now, but it does take showing up every day for yourself, working, putting the effort in, whether that be watching these videos, whether it be taking the information, whether it be working with me one-on-one, coming to the retreats or the workshops or whatever they may be. But it is about doing it for yourself. So does that make sense? Basically, in a nutshell, what I'm talking about is the confidence basic that is so important for you to think about, really is about get clear on your relationship to confidence. And is your relationship to confidence one that is supportive, nourishing, helpful, constructive, useful, whatever the word is that you want to use? I notice I will veer away from right or perfect or positive or good. Is it constructive? Is it helpful? Or is it doing the opposite? Because if it's destructive and it's harmful, then you need to start looking at what your assumptions are about confidence. Because if you were to personify confidence, what would that look like for you? And is that something that, if that was a person, is that someone that you would want to be in the same room as? Because if it's somebody you're like, actually, no. If the two of you were sat, you and confidence were sat having a cup of tea in a cafe, for example, would that be something that you'd be like, oh, how do I see more of you? And I'd really love to meet up again. And how does this happen? And you're great. Thanks for everything you're doing in my life. Or would it be a case of, is it time to leave yet? Because if it's the latter, then you really need to work on your relationship with confidence. And that's why I do these videos every week. That's why there's the stuff on YouTube. That's why there's the stuff on my blog. In fact, let me put that on here if I can type with it. It's amazing how it seems to be impossible to type my own name, which I kind of type a fair bit. There we go. Hopefully that will be there. But there's stuff on the blog. That's why I do all of these things and do what I do, so that I can share these little seeds that hopefully will make a difference for you at some point, and help you access the kind of confidence that you want to have on a day-to-day basis. So, how is it possible for an hour to go by, an hour, even half an hour, to go by so quickly? So as I take a swig of water again, have you got any questions, is my first question. And also, I'd love to know what your one takeaway is from this evening. So I'm going to have a drink of water, but whilst I'm doing that, just jot down your answers. What is your one takeaway from this video this evening? And I can't remember what the first thing that I asked. What's your one takeaway from this evening? There you go. Just go with that. And whilst you are typing those things in, I want to remind you as well that these videos, it's been a long day, that these videos, the topics really do come from you or come from conversations from clients. So if you have a specific topic that you're like, I wish Jules would answer a question on this, or I don't know how to do with that, then please do chuck it either in the comments box this evening, or even if you're watching it live, watching it on the recording rather, then please do put it in there. But these are about you. So if you have got a topic that you would like, I don't have to name that it's you that's done it, but if you've got a topic that you would like me to talk about, then put it in the box and I will put it in the schedule, and I will potentially stop passing wind from this end as we have a conversation. I do apologise about that. So I am not sure if people are typing. Let me just check on the other page to see whether there are any comments happening over there. There aren't any comments that I need to do there. So I think I've given you enough time. I'm hoping that you've found this evening. Let me know if this has made sense and if you've found it of value. And if you genuinely have found it of value, please do share it. Please do share it to your page. Absolutely, Deborah, confidence is inside you. It's just about accessing it. Then please do share it on your page. Do invite people to like this page and be part of this community, because this is something where it is a safe space for people to comment, people to be party of. And the more that we share it, the more we can get this information out there and help other people experience even more confidence. So I'm thinking that is all of the comments that have come in for this evening. So thank you for being part of this evening. Just remember, if you have made it to the end of the recording, that you can still comment and I will reply. Obviously, I won't be able to reply live, but I will come on and reply to any of your comments. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. If you have a topic, send it over, and I look forward to seeing you again this time next week. Take care. Bye now.